Episode number 130 with Alex Venosa. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. I am here at the Poker House out at the WSOP 2017, and I'm with Alex Venosa. Welcome, Alex.
What's up, Steve?
How you been, man?
Well, poker sucks, but I guess life is good.
right on. Same for me. It's been a while since we put on an episode. I've been getting a bunch of messages from you guys, and I had a little curveball thrown at me while I was down on vacation, and I'm getting divorced. So I haven't quite been in the right headspace to record a podcast, but I've been chilling here at the Poker House, playing some cards, talking with the guys, and you guys have really kind of gotten me, I think, in the right headspace. You know, it was good for me to come out here and be with a bunch of guys and kind of get my mind right before I have to go back home and do my thing. I got to do what I got to do, you know?
That's the job.
Yeah. It's pretty tough. This was definitely probably the biggest curveball I've ever been thrown in my life, but it's been nice being here with you guys, and thank you for letting me stay here. And every day I've been getting out in the pool and just trying to relax and focus But yeah, life goes on. So this is a curveball. It's a little bump in the road, and you got to jump over the obstacle, run through it, or walk around it. So
you seem to be handling it pretty well. So
yeah, I've been trying to just approach this logically and try to leave emotions out of it, because if you get upset or angry or just if you're not in the right headspace, nothing good is going to come from it. So I just got to
keep on keeping on.
Yeah, exactly. So how's your summer been? I'm 0 for 6, but you're a cash game guy.
Yeah. So I'm probably like 3 for 30 in sessions, 3 wins, probably 30 losses.
Wow.
5-5-10 PLO, mostly at Rio, although a bit everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not playing great. I definitely know that. I'm not running great either. These are just really big games.
Yeah.
And these swings are normal.
Yeah.
So, stepping down to 2-5 no limit these days. Just to kind of get some wins under the belt. Had a couple wins, last couple days. So I'll just keep tracking for a while.
Yeah.
As for tournaments, I am 0 for 3. I've only played 3.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to play the 10K PLO because I wasn't feeling good about my game and decided to skip it.
What 3 tournaments did you play?
I played a win daily 400. 2 of those. Mm-hmm. And then I played a Rio 1100 PLO.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Win 400s are fun. You get a field of what, like 200, something like that, 150?
Yeah, about that. Decent guarantees. Usually there's like 25K up top for first.
Yeah. So,
for one day, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
If I knock one of those off, I'm almost even.
I love those. I love those ones during the year. Not during the WSOP, but during the year, they've got dailies that I think they're 250, and they run like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those ones are awesome. You get like 200 people. First is like 10K.
Those are really high value. Really, really high value. They're great. So instead of firing a 1K on a Wednesday, those things are a sure thing.
Yeah. Mike's been having a bit of a rough summer.
That's one way of putting it.
He's been entertaining to be around, but sometimes he can be a little bit of a negative Nancy. But he's
a little bit.
just a tad,
just a skosh.
We have to interject positive optimism about every 4 seconds to try to keep him on the straight and narrow.
Right.
But,
well, the rest of his life is just so entertaining that it's just hard to keep up sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, he is. By the time this comes out, you guys will have a few days to. When's the main event start? We're recording this on the 6th, right?
Starts in like 2 days.
Okay. Yeah. So when this comes out, if you guys want, Mike is selling 80% of himself for the main event. I've got 1%. You're going to get 5%, right?
Probably.
Mark Aliotto snagged up 10%, so it's 1% for 1.1 markup, 5% for 1.05 markup, and then if you fire a 10 ball, if you get 10%, then no markup. So if you guys want that, I'm getting in on it. I'm not going to be able to afford much because I've got to what I'm going through, but I want 1%.
You're taking a real bad beat right now.
Yes. I have the biggest all-in decision of my life right here.
You're just trying to chop at this point.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, I'll take the high, you take the low. And we'll go. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. I'm trying to look at a positive spin on this, though. I'm going to, I live in Oxnard. I've got to stay in that house for another 4 months before I can sell it without having to pay the capital gains tax. And I'm going to move back to Ventura where I was when I started this podcast. It's a lot of fun. It's a neat town. They've got bars and restaurants and movie theaters, and it'll be a good system reset for me to kind of get out of the suburbs and where there's a bunch of families that live and go downtown where it's fun and there's a weekend event. There's always a salsa festival or a beer festival or a wine festival going on every weekend, and it'll be a lot more, I think, a good system reset for me to get out of that house and get into a place that's...
Just make sure to have that spare bedroom working for me.
Yes, I will. When you come up and visit, there's a card room that's about 8 minutes from the house, and we can go down there. The biggest limits they have on the weekends are 5-10, no limit. They do have some PLO. They've got Big O, too. Do you ever play that?
Yeah, I've dabbled.
Okay.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty nice card room.
It's not bad. I think they've got something like 18 tables, something like that. It's not as big as... what's the one in Ocean? Oceans. It's not as big as Oceans, but it's a neat little card room. It's fun.
That's awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and one thing, we were talking last night, and I've said several times on the podcast that the 1-2 game there with the rake is unbeatable, but you convinced me last night that you can make $10 an hour playing that.
Well, it's definitely possible based on the blinds and that structure. I'd have to play with the player pool, but
they're not good.
That's true. None of them are, but hopefully they're giving action still.
Okay.
And they're putting some chips in the pot, because if they're bad but they're really, really tight, nitty, then the game isn't beatable.
Okay.
But if chips are flying and it's playing a little bigger because the low buy-in cap, people just keep firing, and I do.
That's the way it plays. Yeah.
Yeah, then that's definitely beatable.
Okay. Yeah, I make $20 an hour playing the 2-3 game, and it has the same rake. It's a max $5.
Yeah.
What's the cap on that game, would you say?
It's how many BBs can you buy in for the max?
You can buy in for 100 BBs. Max buy-in is 300.
You're probably getting pretty close. I'm sure you can kick it up to 30, but probably not much more than that. Okay. The game after that is a 3-5 no limit, max buy-in 600. That one's too big for my bankroll. Okay. But the 2-3 is, well, I don't know that it is now. I might have to drop down to 1-2. We'll see. We'll see. Man, you got a job. Just take a shot.
I know.
See what happens.
Yes. But anyhow, I've got a little strat if you want to talk some strategy.
Sure.
Okay. All right. This strategy section is brought to you by Tournament Poker Edge. You play tournaments. I play tournaments. Join Tournament Poker Edge. They've got videos. They've got forums. If you really want to get better at tournaments and you really want to up your tournament game, then Tournament Poker Edge is for you. You can sign up for an entire year, which is what I do. I just block off a year. It gets you the cheapest amount per month. You guys know me. If I can save $1, I will. And if I could save you $1, I will. So when you sign up, use the code HUP month, HUP quarter, or HUP year, depending on how long you want to sign up for. You'll kick a little bit back to the podcast. You score yourself a discount. It's just a win-win. TournamentPokerEdge.com. Click on the link in the show notes. It'll take you straight there to their sign-up page. You can also check out their videos for free. They've got a lot of free videos up there, so you can watch probably 20 hours worth of free videos before you even sign up. So check it out. Okay, this one, Alex, I am I've fired 6 tournaments so far. I've fired several of the Rio deep stacks, and I fired 3 bullets into the Golden Nugget 100K guarantee. Just bubbled the first one, then I fired 2 other bullets, which I probably should have just gotten home because I'd played for 8 or 9 hours, but I fired 2 more and bageled both of those. But this hand is from, I played the Rio 235 deep stack, and I think it started at 2 o'clock. I must have gone out around like 4:45, and then there was another tournament like right in the very next room for 185. It was a 5 p.m. at the Rio. So 185 buy-in. I think there was about 300 people, something like that. And we are, let's see, we've got Ace King in the, on the button.
Ace King offsuit.
Ace King offsuit on the button. Blind levels are 200, 400. Okay.
50 ante.
I think, let's see, 200, 400, that would be a 50 ante.
50 ante, okay.
50 ante.
200.
50, 200, 400. Okay, so we get a raise from early position to 800.
Under the gun?
Under the gun plus 1.
Okay.
Under the gun plus 1 to 800, so a min raise. Then it folds around to the cutoff, and he calls 800. Now, the cutoff is a guy, he's from New York, and like all New Yorkers, within 30 seconds of talking to them, they let you know that they're from New York. And he's got, to set the stage, he's got a hoodie on, he's got the headphones, no sunglasses, but he does have a hat. He's kind of probably in his mid-30s. I don't think he's 40 years old. I'm trying to remember what his name was. I think it was like Dwayne. And an active player. I don't get the impression that he's a pro, but just a real active, aggressive player. He calls from the cutoff, and now we're on the button with Ace King offsuit. Now, there's 2 shorties in the blinds. So the small blind, I believe he had 3,000 or 4,000. So at 200, 400, he's got 9 or 10 big blinds. And the big blind has about 3,300, so he has less than 10 big blinds. So what's your move here with Ace King offsuit? The early position raiser, I would just call him an average player, not real aggressive, not like a super tight player. And then the cutoff is, when he calls there, I think he's got a lot of suited connectors. I think he's got a lot of small pairs, suited broadways, possibly even some offsuit broadways, hands like that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that range construction. The thing to focus on here is the early position raiser. The blinds, even with short stacks, are so much less likely to shove over an early position raiser and, like you said, +1, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's really tough for them for a small blind to shove over a +1, and it's really tough for a big blind to do that too. So really, you're gonna play the hand like they're not even there, and you are going to call their overships if they ship over your 3-bet, but you're going to want to be 3-betting here pretty much all of the time, especially with the cutoff call in between.
Okay.
And the sizing, you should go to Rampage for this, but I would probably make it around 2,400.
Okay. All right.
Maybe 25, 26.
Okay. Like 3x with the...
3x, yeah. And then you're just calling ships from either blinds, and you could possibly get away or possibly play it without getting it in all in pre against the under the gun player, depending on what happens, but you'll also get it in against the cutoff.
Okay. I doing what I normally do, going against good advice, I end up calling, and my reason is because it felt to me like the guys to my left were ready to ship it. And I was afraid if I raised that they wouldn't. I thought by calling 2 big blinds here, if I'm wrong and they just limp along, then that kind of sucks because I'm taking, I'm taking Ace King, 4 or 5 handed. So yeah, I guess a better move there would be to 3-bet. Huh?
Again, that's a logical line of thinking. If it's just like the cutoff and you,
yeah.
If the cutoff opens for 800, now you have some real decisions. Especially if you think the blinds are ready to ship. But with an under the gun +1 opener, those blinds are looking for aces.
Yeah, and they're looking for big ends.
Yeah, because they know they're getting called 100% of the time when they ship by the under the gun opener.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I call. Then the small blind calls. And the small blind calls for 800, and then the big blind ships for 3350.
Okay.
He did it pretty quickly. He didn't seem to hesitate and think. It was just like he looked at his cards and then grabbed his chips and put it in. Early position raiser, he folds.
That's great.
That's probably about the best scenario that could have happened.
Could happen. That's absolutely.
And now the cutoff calls the 3350. He's got about 30K behind.
And you cover?
No, I've got 15K. I've got about a little bit more in the starting stack. If I remember right, I think this tournament starts with 10K. I had 15. So I've got 15K now. We ship?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Ship.
Okay. Yeah, I ship, and the small blind folds, and then the cutoff folds.
Yeah, that's why you ship.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I did not, actually. The small blind, I'm trying to remember what hand he showed up with. It wasn't, he wasn't nutted. It was something like ace jack or something, and he drew out, or maybe a small pair. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but there was a lot of dead money out there.
Yeah. You really recovered after...
after the misstep.
but you know what? I will give it to you that... a blind was ready to ship, so you were paying attention, and that's better than any theory over a microphone is paying attention at the table.
Okay.
So commend you for that. And then also, you seem to be able to give the under the gun one raiser more the correct amount of credit than I did, because I'm just thinking of it based on I guess 9 guys sitting at a table that look like me. What would I do against me type thing, but you picked up that this under the gun one raiser could have been a little looser. So yeah, I mean, you put yourself in a good position.
Okay.
Logically got your way there. So.
Now the guy from New York, the guy in the cutoff that called the 3350, he originally called the 800, then he called the 3350, and then
it's official. He's absolutely not a pro.
Okay. All right. Because you were wondering, he was very adamant.
He can't be.
Yeah.
Possible.
Okay. He was very adamant that I should have called there.
Yeah, I bet he was. Yeah, that's exactly what he wants you to do. He wants to see a flop. He doesn't want to just fold his 3K. Of course.
Yeah, he was very adamant that I should call there, and I didn't think that was right. I thought it was great to isolate and then get the dead money. But he was being results oriented because the flop was, let's see, what was the flop? The flop was Jack 10 Queen. So I flopped the straight. Somehow the other guy ended up getting there. Maybe he ended up getting a boat because I remember losing the hand. But he had Queen Jack suited. So he would have flopped top 2 and I would have got his stack, but I would have lost the other one. It's like, well, that seems pretty results oriented, but
that is results oriented.
Okay, yeah. That's just a.
You got him to fold a lot of equity for a lot of chips that he already put in the pot.
Yeah, he put in 9 big blinds for nothing.
For 0 equity. So.
Okay. All right. Okay, I feel better about that one then.
Yeah. Good.
But I should have 3-bet pre-flop.
I mean, just the dynamic of an early position raiser makes it more difficult for blinds to shove. So, so your exploitative play by calling is less likely to happen in this spot. That's all.
Okay. All right. Okay. I got one more. And this one is also Ace-King offsuit. Okay. First, I'm going to tell you about Elliot Roe. Get in the right mindset before you play. No matter what your game, whether it's tournaments, cash, online tournaments, online cash, whatever it is, if you want a mindset booster, you need to get in the right mindset before you sit down and wager large sums of money for small edges. Listen to his 7-minute tilt buster. It's a free one. You can get it by clicking on the link in the show notes. And if you do get an MP3, type in the code HUPOKER and you'll score yourself a little discount. So, Elliot Roe, mindset advantage. Okay. Ace-King offsuit, we've got it in the small blind. This is the same tournament. We're the next level now, because now we're at 300, 600. Okay. Same tournament, 185 buy-in. And we get a raise from under the gun. Okay. So she's 2 to my left. This is a girl in her mid-20s. We've been playing now together for, since the inception of the tournament. So we've been playing, if it's 300, 600, I imagine we've been playing for about an hour and a half or so. She's a girl in her mid-20s, been very tight. She's played very few hands. And, just a tight player. She's got about 15K behind. She has a little bit more than the starting stack. And middle position makes it, he re-raises to 6,500. Okay, so under the gun, tight girl makes it 1,800, 3x. It folds around to a guy in middle position who is, he's a tag. He's a tight, aggressive player. And now the folds around to us in the small blind. We've got 21,600 behind. We've got 36 big blinds. I take that back. I misspoke about the under the gun. She doesn't have 15,000. She has 30,000.
30, okay.
So she's got us covered.
They both do.
They both do. And we've got ace king off with 36 bigs. What are you thinking here?
Thinking 4-bet fold here.
We can 4-bet fold this.
I think so. I think there's room. Yeah. I think that's the play.
Okay, we've got 21-6. If he made it 65, what's your sizing here?
She made it
1,800.
She made it 18.
Middle position makes it 6,500. And we have 21,000.
Probably make it like...
Because if we make
you make it like 11-8, but...
Then we're putting in half our stack and then folding?
Yeah, very good point. But it's 36 BBs. His sizing is
big. Yeah.
It could be folded.
Okay.
But you're right. If we 4-bet, we have to call off.
And when we call there...
We don't call there. That doesn't seem good. It doesn't play well, because then you're just inviting the under the gun player to just ship over you, and once this guy calls, you probably have to call off again, and now you're in an even worse spot. Or she'll just complete, and your hand doesn't play well out of position against 2 villains.
Yeah,
so,
and we still have the big blind to act.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, it's negligible. He's only doing that with the top few percent of hands, but
it's still something. So yeah, it looks like a 4-bet ship, or for 36 big blinds, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Or fold. I think you have enough information to fold. You have the strongest position pre-flop opening for a 2-bet. You have a tag 3-betting large.
Yeah.
And you have an awkward stack size. So I think that's enough info.
Okay.
To fold if you wanted.
Okay. I tanked for a long time, and I really thought, am I actually folding ace king here? And I don't know if it was... I was concerned about the middle position guy re-raising, but my real concern was the girl to my left, because she just played so tight. I remember her showing down jacks, queens. She even showed me that she folded kings against 2 players when there was an ace on the board. And, it was obvious in that spot they had an ace. It was obvious in that spot they had an ace,
Sure
but
she's bragging about.
Yeah, it was, an obvious fold, but she was still able to do it. So this girl was tight. I end up folding, and then the big blind folds, and the original opener, she ships it for 30K. For 50 big blinds. Middle position guy, he tanks for a little while, and then he realizes he's beat, and then he folds his hand. But so I think it was the right move, but I wasn't sure. Just folding ace king there pre-flop,
You don't have to.
I could have shipped.
You could have just shipped there, and nobody has anything to say.
Okay.
But I think you have enough info to fold there.
Okay. All right.
And I think with 36 big blinds in these soft fields, it's probably just a more human play to fold there and live to fight another day in position with a totally workable stack.
Yeah, and I'm only sacrificing half a big blind on this hand. It doesn't cost me anything.
If you had like 35K, then we could start 4-bet folding And if you had less, then we can always start shipping.
Yeah.
So you just, with the awkward stack size and the information that you have, the players that you're playing against, I think you could definitely make a fold there.
Okay. I felt like if I had maybe like 17 or 18K, this is a no decision, just ship it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And then
it's
maybe
just, you're looking to get into a race and double up at that point with little dead money in there,
Yeah.
So,
and maybe
but at 36, you're not looking to do that.
Yeah. Maybe if we had like, I don't know, 30K or something for 50 big blinds, we could 4-bet fold. Then maybe we can make it like 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're only...
Like 11-8, like 12-2 or something.
Yeah, then we're sacrificing like a third of our chips instead of half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Right on. Those are the hands. What's your plan for today? What are you going to do?
I'm going to take my car in.
Oh, that's right. We're going to take your car in.
Get the AC recharged because this summer has just killed it. This car has been in Vegas for 3 summers now, so the fact that it's cooled me down without problem this whole time.
You've gotten your money out of the AC system, yes. It's time to reinvest
I'm
a small
more than willing to reinvest a small portion.
That's right.
I mean, and when you're down $30K in cash, like what's a few $100 for air conditioning?
There you go.
It's basically free. They're basically paying you for air conditioning. It's the best session I've had all week, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
I actually get to leave with something, air conditioning.
Yes.
Still leave with no money, but at least I get to leave with air conditioning.
Yeah.
And then probably go play some 2-5 no limit cash at the Rio. The games there have been tolerable.
Good.
So it's probably the plan.
Right on. And, we were talking last night, and I think you're doing absolutely the right thing. And I really wish Mike would take a page out of your book and just step down, Yeah. I think he's off firing it's either a 3K today or a 1,600. I think he has all of himself. I don't think he sold anything, did he?
I didn't buy any.
I didn't either. He paid me back what my my 1% investment. He paid me back what was left over. The difference.
I've closed out. I mean, I've been taking pieces of him since then on a daily basis, but he knows not to ask me about like midweek World Series bracelet events or anything because I wouldn't even take a piece of him in those with no markup.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And not because he's bad, just because I think those fields are so tough and the structures are so turbo.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope he, hey, we were talking last night, like if you could give him one golden nugget and he actually did it, what would that be? If you knew that whatever you told him, he was going to
move to LA and play cash. Seriously,
yeah.
like he can do it. He's just one man, and he'd still be in Southern California for his family. That's just where all the money is.
Yeah, at the Commerce.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like if he was content grinding out the 2-3 at Ocean's 11. Then, I'd be like, all right, if you're doing your thing, like, I can't convince you to go to LA if you're happy here. But he's not. He doesn't, the game isn't great.
Yeah.
But LA is fantastic, so that's where he should be.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Yeah. And, you kind of convinced me of something last night is it's like live cash, like you had your session yesterday. You played for 6 hours and you made $100 an hour and like it's just... It's so much more of a stable income. Whereas if you were to take that 600 and fire on a tournament and you have a 17% cash chance of cashing, like that, there's just so much variance in there. The live cash is what's made your living for you, and it's much more of a steady income.
Yeah, I mean it's not steady by any.
Well, you're playing
means of normality,
you're playing giant PLO games too. You know what
sure,
I mean?
but yeah, these smaller stakes no limit games are still so soft that you can like a couple days ago I got a set of threes in on Queen 8-3 with the Queen 8 of clubs against Ace Jack at clubs for a big pot over 2,000. And I'm in good shape, but he's by no means dead, and he gets there. So you can definitely take some swings in these games. But I haven't been put in a tough spot yet. So that just means if I just keep plugging away, the money will flow. And
yeah,
not to worry. Because $100 an hour yesterday was far above expectation.
Yeah.
even though it felt like a grind, right? So you got to take these medium days while you can and appreciate them.
Yeah. And this has been really good for me being at the house too. I mean, I'm just surrounded by guys like you that are pros and do this for a living. And when I first came here, I don't think I had any expectations, but I wasn't really sure how much I could really contribute other than helping to clean up the house and buy beer and to pay for a little bit of rent, because This place isn't cheap. But there was Mike, who's he played in the different Mike, not Mike Snyderman. What's his last name? Mike
Pearson. He won the main event in Tahoe last year.
Yeah, just a grinder, and he was playing in a bounty tournament the next day. And ironically, the last episode we did was on bounty tournaments and figuring out the math of how to calculate that. So he and I talked for probably 2 or 3 hours the night before he played this bounty tournament. And, we basically talked about how to calculate when to call and, turning chip equity into, into a mathematical value, to whether it's leaning towards a call because there's a $500 bounty out there or not. And that was pretty cool. It was neat for me, just being an internet tournament grinder, that I could teach a guy that's been doing this for a living, a concept like that. And I think it paid off because he played that bounty tournament. He ended up getting 6 bounties the first day.
6.5 bounties.
6.5 bounties.
Yeah, he split a bounty with a gentleman.
Yes.
And first day before they were in the money, he had cashed for like 3x or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was a $1,500 buy-in.
2x, yeah.
And he got 6 $500 bounties, and then he was in the money. And he didn't run real deep the second day, but I asked him, I said, did that have any, were there any spots where that actually came up? And he said, yeah, actually there was one. And he said, I remembered what we were talking about, and that, I have to add an extra 2,500 chips to his stack, and that leaned towards a call as to a fold, and I got a bounty for him. I'm like, right on, cool. So that was neat. And then another guy here, Django, do you play with him, or you just met him on this trip too? Or?
No, I've been playing with Django for a long time.
Okay.
He's a Bay Area player, so when I was up there, and whenever I am up there, he's a mainstay in the big games.
Nice, yeah. And he plays PLO, some of the biggest limits.
Yeah, at the biggest in Vegas, and
yeah, and he's also been firing a few tournaments, and he's used to playing 300 big blinds deep, PLO, and he's been buying into some of these 1500s and 2K, MTTs, bracelet events, and his Achilles heel was playing when he got short stacked. He says, if I got a big stack, I just steamroll the table and I just keep going. He said, but as soon as I get down to like 40 big blinds, I start to get uncomfortable. And then he said, when I'm down to like 10 and below, I'm completely lost and I have no idea what to do. I don't know what hands to shove. And we talked over a few hands, and I think just playing so much online and doing coaching with Mark and having this podcast, a lot of these spots were very obvious to me, but they weren't to him. And I was kind of able to give him a little golden nugget about snap shove and, just having a push fold chart, and so that was cool. I was able to teach this guy that fucking makes a lot of money every year playing PLO. I was able to teach him some tournament concepts. So this was...
you were a welcome addition.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys.
To hang with us next year.
I will be here next year for, I go on my vacation every year with my buddy for a month. And so I'll do that, but we're going to go earlier in the year. We're going to go in like March. And so I'll probably get back in April sometime. I'll hit the fire station, work a lot, and then I'll be back out here next year. My goal is 3 weeks. So if I can hang with you guys next year for 3 weeks, I will be happier than a pig in shit.
All right. That sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike Pearson and I, we were thinking of buying a place in this desert for next summer. So
I was talking to him about that, and you a little bit too. And
I'm getting curious. Just this setup that we have here this year has been the best I've had so far, and I wouldn't mind owning what we've got here. I was talking to Mike. $300K, you can get yourself something.
You can get a nice place with a pool, several bedrooms. One thing I was telling Mike is I was like, if you do this, you need to do at least 20% down.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do 20% down, you're not going to make enough back on the rent to cover the mortgage. But if you guys can come up with 20%, and you will be styling, because you'll be getting that back in rent. And then when you come out here for the summer, now you have a place that's yours and you're not having to pay so much for rent.
Right. That all makes sense.
And then you own it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. But, well, thank you for coming on, Alex. I really appreciate it.
Glad we could get this in.
Yes. Yeah. It is good for me to kind of get on the mic and spit a little bit and download.
We're all on your team in this one.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This is the biggest pot of my life.
Yeah, for sure. Just try to chop, man.
Yes. Just go for the chop.
Go for the chop.
Yes. But you guys can check out the website, headsuppoker.poker. Don't forget to get your 7-minute tilt buster. And thank you for tuning in. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
You know, to be great, I think you have to fight. And I very much think that my success is a product of some level of skill, but I do think I win because I outwork people. I really do believe that. I do believe that 100%.
I realized that information changes situations. So I'd rather buy a book than buy a house. Because if I buy a book, I can buy several homes. You can take all my money out the bank. It might hit me, ooh. But if you take the knowledge out of my head and take the experiences that I have, I'm broke, I'm nothing. The problem with most people is that you're not obsessed with improvement.
Every day work harder on yourself than anything else. Because if you become more intelligent, more valuable, more skilled, you can add more value to other people. All you have to focus on in your life is find a way to add more value than anybody else does, and you'll never have to worry about anything. Be the person that does more for others, and life will just be anything you want out of it. Really is what it is.
I'm here. All of my dreams and aspirations are here. And the only thing in between these two is a bunch of work. So tackling that work is a way of moving this needle.
So listen to me, there are those of you who said, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be the best at this company, right? But your value system says you believe in sleep more than you believe in grinding. Your value system says you are a consumer and not a producer. That you're spending more money than you're making. Why? Because you're a consumer, but you're reading all the books and you're saying everything the books are saying. But those books are not in alignment with your values. And if you're going to go to the next level, your values are going to have to change.
Life is like this super temporary, mega fragile thing. You only get like a nugget of time to really pursue the things you care about.